Well, when you consider his screen name, it's an obvious hard counter. Right, fire beats ice. 100, like that's a double damage attribute right there. He's probably going to tag up his NIP water after this day.
So here we go. Picks and bans going through. Udyr being taken away and Shen. So again, Diamond Procs being targeted along with Darien, Nunu and Xerath being taken away. We did see Peke running that the other day and it worked out okay for him, but that was in day one when they lost.
It's interesting. I'm surprised to see the Xerath ban come out. Nunu, I'm not surprised by. It is a Cyanide champ. He does pretty well with that one. He's one of the junglers that I actually trust to be on Nunu and excel with that one. So I like that ban choice. The Udyr and Shen bans I like as well because, again, you limit a lot of Darien's top lane options that synergize with Jungle Eve. And that's the thing. I really think that if you run Eve, you need a CC lane to gank for, or it's pretty useless here. So if he goes back for the Malphite or goes for something like Aatrox, Aatrox can work. Actually, he's got the knock-up and slow, but I expect Gambit to go Evelynn, and Fnatic to be okay with that.
Well, Cassidy and Jace the final bans, which does leave a number of options open. And honestly, Gambit actually normally go for Sona, so Fnatic might be thinking of this and thinking, okay, they're going to lock Sona in, but what else could they take? Twisted Fate is available. They're going to go for Elise. Okay. I don't think Gambit will go for TF.
It's interesting because I thought with the Cassidy ban, he's one of the characteristic counters to TF. That you ban Cassidy and you look at the Evelynn there, or sorry, the Elise there. But because Gambit had to respect the Jace from Soaz, they give up the Elise, and that's a good first pick there that you do have to be worried about. I still think TF is a likely pickup here for Peke because he's just removed some of the major counters there. However, Gambit, I like them going for Thresh here. I know they picked a lot of Sona, that's been really popular, but if they're still on that Evelynn hype train for the Diamond Jungle, picking up a CC lane for the bottom to take down Pushu and Yellowstar makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, well, of course, Gambit tend generally to go with that Sona, so this does interest me. Misfortune, that's been a pick for Genja. That's very popular in the spring, and that has Thresh locked in, so we're not going to see Sona this time around. And as you mentioned, Twisted Fate available, lots of his counters taken out. This could be a perfect pick for the backdoor master.
And it just depends if Peke is comfortable fighting against a Zed, because that is a champion Alex will happily bring out. You can outplay a Zed with TF, you can go for the early Zonias, you can get some early armor in there and be okay. Double Thorin's Ring, Seeker's Arm Guard, you tend to be okay in the duels. Then you can try to outroam the man, but it's always a bit of a risk. You know that's available, and one of the core champions there that Alex will play. So the Misfortune Thresh lane is cool. It's a bit of a return to form for Gambit. They can easily go for more area of effect crowd control with this lineup. They could run the Malphite back in. They could run the Jarvan in there as well and set up all kinds of fun things. And with Fnatic going for this bottom lane here, they're going to be happy to go heads up. Honestly, the all-in potential is decent from Thresh MF. So Yellowstar will have to dodge some hooks, but the poke from Varus Sona is so strong that they can wear down the bottom lane from Gambit and win as long as they can dodge skill shots.
So interesting. I think both teams are trying to bait themselves into Misfortune here. And I believe he's still 100% pick ban rate. So this could be the first time that he could go through, maybe not get chosen, or will it be the final choices? Gambit, of course, about to make their picks. What will we see from the jungle from Diamond this time?
Well, Gambit has the luxury of last pick, so they can wait to see a mid laner, they can wait to see a jungler, and this is what they're going to do. I like the Aatrox, I like this a lot. So there we go, Evelynn in there, and both of her lanes so far have CC. She can actually follow up with her teammates, and that's really big. And they've also saved their mid laner as a counter pick for TF, or to pick TF if they don't care about Peke's pick right here. So this is actually a nice setup for Gambit. And again, the Aatrox for Darien fits his playstyle very well. Last time he went double Bloodthirster, exploded people with damage output there, and if you still took him down, he just revived and didn't care, and that's a good setup for him. So it's Fnatic to make some choices. They get to, of course, know what the top lane is. It's going to be Soaz versus Darien and at the Elise versus Aatrox, but they've got to choose their mid laner blind.
And it's definitely giving them choices that they're having to discuss here. You can see there's a lot of focus on the players at the moment. Darker almost fallen asleep. He's ready and waiting to go. In the bottom there, Lissandra would be an interesting pick. This could, of course, mean that Elise would be the jungler for Cyanide. We haven't talked about Jarvan either. Jarvan being available. That could switch things around. This means Twisted Fate is not going to get selected. It will get let through. Will Alex Hitch go for it? Will he take it? Is it the right choice for him? Hi, Medinger.
unlikely choice here in the mid lane. I'd love to see it. I mean, every once in a while, like every week or two, we see a champion we didn't think would come out show up there. Back in the spring split, Xerath shows up, and we're like, oh, the first day that Aatrox is available, Darien goes for it, and we're like, oh, wow, yeah, he's going for it. Lissandra ended up being huge when she finally came around. Europe has run her so many times. So, again, I don't think it's really Heimerdinger here, but I'll talk about the Fnatic 2 picks here because they now have really, really good hard engage, and all their lanes are quite strong for ganks. Elise, I keep getting the names wrong. Elise is a very good early game jungler. This is something that's so strong. If you can do a lot of early game damage against Gambit, that's cool. There we go. Galio's back. This is one of his old guard champions, but I want to finish my thought on Fnatic real quick. Elise has so many good early game ganks here. She can set up with the Kennen, she can set up with the Lissandra, she can even set up for Sona Varus. All those lanes are gankable.
So, interesting setup. I'm waiting to see which way Fnatic are going to switch these lanes. Peke, of course, went massive yesterday on Lissandra, so he could be staying on this champion, but we have seen Soaz running it as well. Kennen, of course, is another champion that both of them play, so wait to see. Of course, the time is going to tick down for a long time, but what do we see from the Fnatic side here? Because there's a lot of area effect, a lot of CC as well as Gambit. This is actually, both teams are going to clash pretty hard.
This is really interesting because both teams only have the one node, which is all in. Fnatic has a little bit more poke, but I want to talk about one specific interaction that's really scary here for Gambit fans out here. So Soaz, generally speaking, can start his ultimate and then dive in. So the taunt from Alex Sitch's Galio won't stop him from ulting it. Will, however, probably stop him from using Zhonya's. However, even while taunted, Slicing Maelstrom will still go out and shoot out some damage, and Soaz on Kennen is likely to stun Alex out of his Idol of Durand, is likely to stop the channel on the Galio ultimate early and free his team from taunting. However, while that is still going on, you've got the Misfortune bullet time coming through, you've got free time for Darien and Aatrox to go mental. The entire team from Fnatic is likely to get hit by Evelyn's ultimate as well, so there's an obvious sort of press R wombo combo on both sides, and it just kind of depends on how early Alex gets stunned, how crazy can Darien and Pushu go, and then how much damage is Genji's bullet time deal.
We shall see, because this game has definitely got some interesting picks in it, that's for sure. And you got excited about the fact that you wanted Diamond for the CC. You wanted to see this coming out from them, and it seems that Gambit wanted it themselves as well. Both these teams fighting to stay up the top of the ladder. Gambit currently are sat in that position at 10 and 7. Fnatic, if they win here, will actually tie with Gambit. They'll both be on 10 and 8. So Gambit, the pressure is on them. Fnatic just trying to stay in toast. Fnatic, of course, were the spring season #1 team. They won the playoffs as well. So they managed to beat out Gambit both times. And historically, so far in the LCS, Gambit have been the worse off against Fnatic. It's looking like Genji's going to have to use that strut passive of Misfortune to get out of there already. So they do know that Fnatic are all stacked in this top lane.
And that's really convenient for him, using the champion who runs faster than anyone else to scout out one of those pressures and see where Fnatic goes. They've stymied one of the big aggression paths here for Fnatic. They've only got 1 minute left now to get to a buff before it spawns, and their top lane push just got stopped. If they go towards the bottom, there's already wards in place here for Gambit. Fnatic are not likely to succeed with an invade at this point.
Fnatic are going as one still, though, heading down towards the bottom lane. We do see Fnatic, are they going to go towards it? They just showed themselves on that ward, so they know exactly where they are, but they're all still stacked. They have no vision down this bottom lane, so they've no idea where the Gambit have gone for full invade themselves.
Well, we'll see, and that's kind of the issue when Fnatic goes for that sort of hardcore stack on one side and get spotted out. They lose all the ward coverage they were looking for, and this means that they have to be the defensive team. They put a defensive ward down on their red buff. You're seeing Soaz actually is throwing shurikens randomly around because he doesn't know if people are lurking around in his jungle because of that darkness, and it's like, is someone there? No, okay, I can go to the bottom lane. But look at what Fnatic are doing, though. They're actually, because they saw Genja run to the top lane, they expect him to stay there and want to fight that 2v2.
Yeah, they are taking Pushu and Yellowstar up there. It seems it will be a 2v2 setup, which means, of course, it will be Soaz up against Darien in that bottom lane. Diamond's going to be starting at blue. We also saw Cyanide starting at his own blue, so mirror match for both junglers. Seems like they're going to take the same routes at the opposite ends of the jungle. We do see Darien on Aatrox. We've seen him on this before. They did take victory last time he was on it. where do you stand on this as a lineup? Actually, tell a lie, because the Yellow Star's going to get hooked in, very much aggressive from Darker straight away, putting the Ignite down on towards him and taking a lot of damage off Yellow Star early on. They want to keep the pressure on towards him, but Pushu wasn't too worried about that.
As long as he doesn't take another arrow or another hook for a while, he's got another health potion and the biscuit to get back to full. So Fnatic are still okay in this lane, and they will keep trying to poke out. It's just up to how well sustained can Darker be before the junglers start messing around with this lane.
We will see. And speaking of junglers messing around with the lane, Diamond already up here, going to try and sneak his way, and he's going to get... No, he's not going to get spotted because he stealthed up just in the right time before those minions came around. Yellow Star has actually gone a long way away from this one. They might quickly go aggressive on Pushu. Diamond's already got himself in that second layer of bushes, stacked up with the double buff. This could be very much early aggression. Darker coming out, maybe forcing them back.
They need a hook or a flash flay, though, because they can't just force the kill without burning something. There goes the hook, and it lands!
The hook lands straight in there. There's the flay. Pushu has to flash away from this one. Is there going to be enough damage? One more shot. Yes, it will be. Genja picks up first blood.
So there we go. The skill shots land here from Darker, and that is huge. Getting the CC makes the Evelynn ganks work. Great job there by Gambit.
So, back to this bottom lane. We can see Darien actually very low, getting stunned out there already by Soaz, putting some serious punishment on him, already starting to develop a CS lead. How do we look towards this lane? Because it's not a lane we've seen a great deal of in the LCS. We've only seen, so far, Aatrox played once, and it was by Darien. They did win out that lane. But this time again, it's up against Soaz, the effectively #1 top laner.
Yeah, so of course you can see a 23-10 minion kill lead, because right now Darien can't really deal with a ranged matchup. This is one of Kennen's strengths, is bullying melee champions out. Darien can try to auto attack and sustain back up, but the problem is he's still against a ranged champion who does out DPS his sustain. Whenever Soaz lets up though, it is very easy for Darien to top back off.
Of course, you can see this lane in the moment in that top is being bullied because there's no flash or barrier available for Pushu anymore, so expect to see Darker and Genji being much more aggressive. Diamond has snuck himself in towards his bottom lane though. Kennen of Soaz has just returned. He's got himself a second Doran's Blade, so expect to see maybe he's going to go a little bit more aggressive. He hasn't got anything to check towards that. May well get spotted out here. He's going to dive in. They're going to catch on towards him. Is it enough damage, though? No, it's not. So as just quickly lightning surges away, and you can see he's got a 75% win rate, but he has been bullied out of his turret by now for Darien and Diamond.
And because of the blood well, he's got enough tankiness to dive the turret, which means Soaz has to sit towards the back, wait for a minion wave to just produce enough damage to tank through the turret line, and then he'll be okay, especially with Cyanide waiting to counter gank. Thing is, they won't dive at this point.
And Cyanide's actually waiting off in the wings. He's not showing himself, so they actually want, it seems, Darien or Diamond to put some pressure down. We saw teleport just used there from Alex. Something we didn't actually touch on, the fact that both mid laners do have teleport.
And this is interesting that Alex actually chose to waste that teleport now just to keep up in his lane right here. He doesn't expect any hardcore ganks in from Cyanide that he needs to counter gank, because Alex will hit 6 soon, and then Idol of Duran plus teleport is such a good counter gank tool. The fact that that is down can actually be a little bit dangerous for Gambit.
Yeah, and Peke, he took a long time to get going on the Sandra last time around, but once he got going, boy did he get going. I think he ended up with the 817, I believe it was, you said, the stats in the opening show. Very much a strong performance on his first Lysandra, and you can see it's got a very strong win ratio as well, 81.3%. Yes. No surprises there. It was heavily used by Throne Lord at the opening few weeks, and since then has been pretty much one of the main focuses here in Europe.
And look at the wards that just came out here. They pink warded the river, but not this brush. They do not know Diamond is here. Darker, if he lands a hook, can get another kill.
Remember, Flash is down. Oh, the hook not quite landed on Yellow Star. Pushy this time, going aggressive. Oh, Yellow Star might just face check straight on towards him. He does go in there. He hasn't got the hook back available. He'll be back in a moment. Can he get away from this one? Yes, he does. He flashes. The Ignite is running. He should be safe, though. And this time, Gambit don't be successful.
Yeah, there's no summoner spell, or no flash, I should say, up for Darker. If he could have flash played Yellow Star, it would have guaranteed them a kill. And you just saw, without any CC landing, how much damage they got to put down. Imagine what would have happened to Yellow Star if that hook landed. Thankful for Fnatic that he did dodge that. And I want to also point out, though, the gold right here. Actually, hold on, Pekka's going to find Diamond.
He's going to find him. Is he going to be able to catch on towards him with that Claw of Doom as he goes in? He will catch him down. He's going to get the Chain of Corruption. And no, tell lies, not Chain of Corruption. He has it at level 6. I don't know what it was, but he managed to get stunned up nicely. And Peke picks up that kill.
Absolutely beautiful right there. And dodges the hook. That's important as well. And he used the mechanics of Lysandra so well. That Ice Claw works like flash. If you hit it in the middle of a wall, you'll go to the nearest edge of the wall, was only powered through the Baron pit, but still popped out the other side, cut off the retreat, stunned him up, easy kill.
Fnatic actually 4-man grouped up there. We are seeing the teleport coming out from Peke, so that's been used in full vision of Alex, so he's going to know the timer on that. It's got about half the time left on that, which is 90 seconds around about left on his timer, because it's
123 right now.
123 seconds left on that timer, so keep your eyes peeled on when that's available and see whether Alex does go for any ganks. This bottom lane though, Soaz big advantage continuing to be built here, despite the fact he got bullied out a little bit by Diamond. We do see them, Diamond actually taking the blue buff for himself again and heading down towards this bottom lane. I think he's just simply going to hold off the turret though while Darian goes back.
I actually want to point out something from Soaz, though. So, assuming he survives this gank, which might not happen, he's got a longsword. Against Galio, he's going to stack him hard. Never mind, he's getting ganked.
He's going to go in. He's got a full life force as well. He has got his ultimate available. We can see Diamond trying to get on towards it. Has Soaz got enough to turn this one around? He goes aggressive. He gets Diamond down, but he pays for the life. Then now Darker in the top there. He gets caught out. Now Genja's going to be the focus target. Cyanide switches, lands the cocoon beautifully on towards him. Genja's in all sorts of trouble. He's going to get taken down just on the turret here. One more shot will do it. It is going to be another kill, and it's Cyanide that takes it. So suddenly Fnatic get 3 kills and Gambit just get the 1.
Absolutely beautiful play right there. The early ganks from Cyanide were so important for them, and now Darren's getting flanked by Peke. He's going for minions.
He's going for minions instead. Didn't really fancy going straight diving in there. Of course, the teleport's still not available for Alex, but he had left that mid lane, so he was aware that possibly he could have had visitors.
So now I want to talk about Soaz. Look at his build. Double Doran's Blade into a longsword into what's going to be Blade of the Ruined King. Of course, Galio scales off of buying a bunch of magic resist, and he wants to just tank magic damage and be like, haha, I'm invincible to your double AP comp. Well, Soaz went for AD Kennen. He's attack damage Kennen, so good luck being Galio against that. Awesome choice right there, Soaz to be like, oh, I'll just go attack damage runes and masteries and buy attack damage items. Haha!
Cast straight against him. Freak's happy with that one. And you may have noticed, by the way, Peke has switched lanes, though, it seems, and Soaz going in towards that mid lane. As you mentioned, attack damage going up against Alex Ich, and Alex is going to have to start stacking himself and defending. A little bit different from this one, but let's see whether it works out for him. Darian continuing to build that passive back up. Well, the timer on it's not available just yet, I don't think. Darian, though, taking a lot of damage. Peke is just going to, I think they're going to change lanes again. Nope. He's just going to hang around and keep Darian guessing. Darian with the blue buff, remember, because he goes
jump across the wall and jump Darian right here. He can all in it with no blood well.
Let's see if he does. That Claw of Doom is going to be ready. He's just lingering, waiting for him to step and basically take himself too far away from safety. There it is, surely. No flash, no ignite available. Soaz comes in just at the right time. They lock him up. He comes around. It's almost certainly going to be a kill. Who's going to be the one that takes it? Alex teleports in. Is it going to be enough, though? He can turn it back around here. He's going to get stunned up. Peke throws out a bit of damage. It's not going to be enough. Alex does back away from that one, but Darian went down to Soaz.
Absolutely great play there. The Bloodwell was still down, and so they knew they could hold on to this one. Peke already had a pink ward in that brush, so we knew no one could see him, and he said, Soaz, come down from the lane. Waited until Soaz was in range, and then comboed out. And because Lysandra can CC you for over 2.5 seconds, that was enough time to say, look, I'll keep him locked up. That'll be enough time for you to come in from the fog of war, and Alex is going to have a hard time defending this one.
Alex is going to get engaged upon. It's going to be Peke that picks up the kill as well. Soaz tanked out the turret beautifully there. He will escape with his life. Peke very low. We do see Diamond actually collapsing in towards him, and Darian, though, as it is, has happening in the bottom lane. He's going to try and teleport back. Is he going to go by in time? I don't think he is. No, he gets taken down. Darian comes in. Now Cyanide's in trouble. He's going to try and repel. Fail flash. Repels away. He's got nowhere to go. He's just going to drop straight down, and it's going to be Diamond that picks up the kill.
That was absolutely massive there for Gambit. They got shut, well, kind of minor shutdown gold because he was only 2-0 right there. But getting those 2 is huge, and now suddenly all that terrible laning that Darian had, being down in minions, getting picked on so much, he just picked up 2 kills. He's sitting on 1,000 gold right now and just left base.
Well, Diamond, he's trying to solo the dragon out. I think he kind of needs a little bit of help here. I'm not too sure. My historical facts are not too strong, but I'm pretty sure Evelyn can't solo it just yet at level 8, and sure enough, he does have to back away from that one because Soaz, well, he just bullied Darian away from that lane again.
And I want to point out one thing by Diamond, actually. This is the second time I've seen him go Spirit Stone into Doran's Ring. And we normally see them go for the early Spirit of the Elder Lizard, and we do still see that from Diamond, but this is the only player I've seen. Oh, goodbye, Yellow Star.
Oh, he does throw out the crescendo. Is it going to be enough? No teleport coming in now from Peke. He comes in. Genja goes down. Darko now in trouble. There's no way escaping for this one. It's going to be a kill, and it's going to be a double for Pushu.
That is massive for Fnatic. A 3-1-2 Varus now is going to make life easy for Fnatic towards the end game, because he's going to scale really, really well. Soaz going to have a hard time killing Darren with the Bloodwell, but he's always a threat. He's got ulti.
It's going to turn that Slicing Maelstrom down. Almost certainly going to force that Bloodwell to go. He's just going to run away from that passive. Diamond Proc's going to try and get in. He's got his Fists of Fury ready. Can he catch on towards the backside of Soaz? Yes, he can. And it's a kill for Diamond.
Soaz unfortunately tried to all in on Darien, but didn't know Diamond was coming nearby, and so burned all of his cooldowns, a lot of his CC, the Lightning Rush and all of that, and then had no escape tools for a very fast running Evelyn who flashed after him. So good job there, Diamond, to realize, you know, they might just try to jump Darien who's got no health. Good read.
Well, BF sword being picked up by both Darien and Genja, so Genja with that standard triple Doran's blade. But meanwhile, Pushu, he's got himself that Bloodthirster already complete. We do see Enter the Dragon from Gambit. They're getting on towards it. Diamond Prox should be taking this one down. He has got that smite to secure it, and sure enough, he takes it.
So there we go, and I want to point out another item build as well by Gambit, the triple Mercury Treads early in the game by their jungler, their mid laner, and their top laner. They know that what Fnatic wants to do is lock them down in crowd control. Every single one of them has a stun or root, and most of them hit more than one target. These guys will be stunned at a team fight, and they say, look, we can get more damage, but I'd rather be stunned for 35% less time. That will let me do more damage and survive the fight.
Looking across the board, Peke, he's starting to get rolling. This could be a scary time for Gambit, of course, because Alex Idge has yet been able to put any presence on the map, honestly. We saw him teleport down to the bottom, but it was simply a case of defensive moves and then had to just back away. Well, Peke, he's been roaming around the map, picking up kills, picking up assists, and he's becoming a bit of a problem for Gambit.
And he's rushing for the Zhonya's Hourglass, which is going to make him so incredibly hard to deal with. We just saw in the Challenger Finals how difficult that was to deal with the Zhonya's self-ult Lissandra, and it's going to be the case here as well. Peke rushing for that item, can just get in the middle of the Gambit team, start out fights, and basically ignore counterattack, especially when you consider that he's going to ignore some of Galio's damage and pretty much all of Genji's ultimate as well.
Fnatic are doing what they do best here. Soaz just off the side. He's going to get the stun on towards Darien. He put the Slicing Maelstrom down and force him away. He doesn't have his Bloodwell available just yet, so he would have been very vulnerable there. And immediately Soaz took him down to half health. We can see the damage that he's already pulling out. That Blade of the Rune King not quite completed yet. Piercing arrow on towards Diamond. That did a fair bit of damage as well from Pushy with that Bloodthirster now complete. And, well, Fnatic are doing what they do best. They've got the split push going. Soaz is causing all manner of problems for Darien.
Yes, that is Soaz just with a categorically good matchup here. Got to pick him late in the order, realize, yep, this is who I want to play here. It's a long-range bully. It's going to be really fun for me. And got to pick that after revealing the Aatrox and knew that would be a good 1v1 for him. And has seeked him out for most of this game. Soaz, for I would say 80% of this game, has been against Darien in lane and is building a lead because of that. Now, you talked about the Bloodthirster and the Piercing Arrow a second ago. I want to get on that as well, is because these two teams are so burst-based of, you know, get the AoE lockdown and we'll clean up from there. Both these AD carries are going for the sort of caster build, the early Bloodthirster to shoot out the Piercing Arrow or the Hail of Arrows, or to shoot out the bullet time and then say, well, you're all at no health, we can clean up easily from that point on.
Absolutely, trying to drill them down as much as possible. And Alex is going to be vital in trying to position that Idler Duran, trying to flash in, get that ulti off and try and disrupt Pushu as much as possible, and maybe, just maybe, if he can lock up Soaz and Peke at the same time. But I'm not too sure. Of course, we did see yesterday a number of champions, especially on Evil Geniuses, they were clumped together. It was Frog and Yellow Pete were clumping together. You would assume that Fnatic are not going to fall for that. They would have seen that yesterday thinking, that's what we got to be careful of, guys. As soon as that Galio got locked in, but Galio doesn't get played very often in the LCS, so the element of surprise could still be there.
It really can be, because Gambit can actually flood into fights really, really well. Imagine if Darker lands a Q, tosses a Lantern, and pulls Alex Itch into the team. You don't get to react to that. You just get taunted by the Galio ultimate, and it's going to be incredibly difficult for Fnatic to deal with. It's hard to produce that sort of setup, but if it happens, there's not much counterplay.
Yeah, funnily enough, I actually did mention the whole Syndra and Thresh thing going on, and they were like, yeah, that's great, but How do you actually get that to work in a fight? It's like
with a Galio.
Yeah.
Syndra Galio Thresh. It's the new combo. You can put
Launch
Galio anywhere you want. Not ever going to happen.
It would be a very well orchestrated fight.
Solo queue, I'm sorry.
Highlight reels for the rest of the year, I think, would be from that one. It would be move of the year that we sometimes see from various fights. Fight of the year. But in this case, it is going to be Soaz backing off. He's going to get himself some more items. Play the Rune King has been completed by him. Cyanide as well. He's going for that AP champion, effectively, with the Haunting Guys and Sorcerer's Boots in there. He's got that magic pen. Needs to just build himself up some more damage.
And that's going to be the case here. It's now time for the teams to explode outwards in terms of damage output. Mercury Treads on those who wanted it are done. Uh-oh, Soaz.
Soaz getting baited into it by Darker there. Pulls out a slicing Maelstrom. Is it going to be enough to turn it around? He does get Darker down. Can he Lightning Surge away from this one? Flashes out. Diamond, though, flashes back in. Does manage to catch on towards him. Speaking of the Idler, Duran wasn't quite able to post it down there. Peke turns around. Alex Itch just drops like a stone. And now Diamond getting focused on Cyanide. He's going to have Cocoon back available in a moment. He used it very early on. There it is. Lands on towards Diamond. Piercing arrow, not quite long enough to reach on towards him. The little spiders are going to do their work, and they're just chomping down the heels of Diamond Prox. And sure enough, Peke picks himself up yet another kill.
Great play right there, and unfortunately for Alex Itch, he's just biting off a little bit more than he can chew every time. He's getting they're jumping on him so fast. Fnatic are immediately turning over and saying, Alex, we have to get rid of your health bar fast so you don't ult us out. We've seen actually twice now him get assaulted on and then be too afraid to ult himself. I actually want to look at Alex's skill order because he is leaving Bulwark to only 1 point, so it's only 30 armor MR. He's relying on the Q and E to wave through. He's got a good minion kill result, or good minion kills because of it, but he has not a lot of tankiness, so Fnatic can burst him out for the next 2 levels. And then Alex is going to start getting tankier with Bulwark. Then it gets a little bit more difficult for Fnatic to kill him off.
Well, Peke is going aggressive here on Darien. Darien trying to force himself to get away from that one. Soaz, of course, was coming in from behind. And this time he does escape. Peke, though, at 4-1-3. Went big yesterday. Soaz joining him as well. This time around is 3-3-1, though. Picked himself up 3 kills. The supports, let's talk about those. Yellow Star, of course, one of the newest supports. He's already got that Ruby Sidestone completed with the boots. Neither supports have gone for those GP10 items. And Darker, well, Darker's been caught out a couple of times already.
And actually right here, Diamond accidentally stole the blue buff. It will help him actually clear the dragon a bit faster than if Alex Itch had it, but as far as the next team fight, within the next 3 minutes, it's actually going to be a little bit worse for Gambit just because of the lower cooldowns on Alex. Though, the dragon pickup, really, really good for them. The pink wards coming down, as well as, I mean, really just the vision control is so good for them here.
So Gambit do keep themselves in terms of gold. You can see once the second dragon they've taken, it is just 2,000 gold between the 2 teams. Not too big. 11-7 in kills is certainly a higher kill ratio than maybe you sometimes see from the LCS games. Of course, though they're saying that, we saw some pretty mental matches at the end of the day yesterday with around about, I think I worked it out, it was 96 kills between the 2 games that yourself and Joe covered in those 2 matches. It was pretty wild. But as it stands, it's Fnatic slightly in the driving seat with a 2-tower advantage and that little gold advantage. This middle turret is not long with the world either. I feel that once Pushu gets back here, they could take this.
Unless Alex can get there in time to defend it, because the wave through, they don't even need minions, screw it, backdooring it. They realized that Gambit still did not show anyone up yet, and they said, all right, we can face tank this, Darian's alone. And I've got to commend, though, as you mentioned, the 2 turret kill lead for Fnatic. They've done a very good job of defending turrets always. They've been in a 2v2 lane and a 1v1 lane, so there's never been like this lopsided 2-on-1 where the turret falls down when a jungler shows up, and they've always responded well to Alex's split pushing or to Darian's split pushing. That Fnatic have kind of repeatedly been drawn back into the laning phase, but then still gotten to get in there for team fights. They've been able to deal with these split pushes and lane against them, and then still make things happen. It's a really good play.
So we'll see how it works out between the AD carries as well, because Genja is finally off in a separate lane on his own, which he likes to do quite often, which is honestly what the AD carries technically should be doing. But Pushu, he's more involved, and he's been with his team. You can see he's got the kills, 3-1-3. Piercing arrow landing on Darien, just has to make the point that he is always sticking around with the rest of his team. He's not going off solo missions. He is sticking around with them, which Genja yesterday certainly fell foul off. He was pretty much not involved for a good half an hour of that game.
Yes, and that's kind of what happens, though. That's Genja's playstyle. He's this sort of, like, sniper, long-range, play with the team AD carry, and you know, he didn't get ganked, he didn't die in lane, and when he's on the losing team, he doesn't have much of an impact. He's not one of the players like you sort of see with Reckless, who tries to make all the openings and jump in and start fights out. But Diamond is the one that he's looking for a gank right here.
Diamond coming around the backside, teleport going to come in. That's Alex who will be joining the party. Comes straight in. Oh, gets Crescendo locked up straight away. Peke just off the side as well. He is a bit of a big boss right now. Can he take him down? Pulls out the Zhonya's hourglass, slicing Maelstrom on towards Darien. He's going to get forced into the Bloodwell. Will it be quick enough? Peke does go down to Genja. As I mentioned, he does come back in towards it. Alex has still got flash and ulti available. Hasn't used STLI. He just used it a minute ago.
Yeah.
So ignore what I'm talking about. It's complete rubbish. And it's a 1-for-0 to Gambit.
And they have map control to take down a turret as well. Dragon's dead, they've picked that one up, so this middle turret is likely to be theirs unless Fnatic can wave clear very, very well. And that's the forced engage that Gambit can pull out. Evelyn into a teleporting Galio. They forced the Crescendo to only land a one champion, but Soaz, he's looking a little bit antsy. They might go for this.
They do manage to take the tower down though, Gambit. That's the first one of the game, but Pushu continuing to keep pressure on. He wants to wind up that piercing arrow, maybe get some damage down. The rest of the team are closing in. You can see Soaz pincer move from that side, and Cyanide continues to keep the pressure on. That Spider not going to find its home though. The Darker will back off. So Gambit, while they've all backed off, we see Fnatic, they're all getting in position. They may well try and take something from this while Gambit all back away.
This is the hallmark of a good team, that even though they lost a couple champions there and Pucci doesn't have much mana, they don't have many ultimates, they still know that they can fight very well, and they know that the catch potential of Gambit is now mostly gone. So they can keep the lanes pushed, they can keep the vision in their favor, they can make sure they know exactly what Gambit's going for, maybe do a little bit of counter jungling, and get, again, the lanes pushed out and keep vision control that way. And that's Fnatic knowing what they can get away with and continuing to be aggressive, because they are still the team with a 1,000 gold lead, and they've got a big window where Alex still has 52 seconds on his ultimate.
And they have good ward coverage around that blue buff as well. They just lost the 2 wards that they had in there. We do see Yellow Star coming out, just getting a ward back down that river. Peke's just pushed that top lane. 3 members of Gambit are going up to deal with that one. While Fnatic, they were just getting in position to come around that mid lane. So Gambit at the moment having to be reactive rather than proactive against Fnatic. They're trying to keep them at bay. Darien did use his passive in that last fight as well, so it's the only reason it went to a 1-1. Cyanide putting that pink ward down, he will clear out. This is actually Baron coverage maybe they're going to start doing.
And one thing I like also about what Darien's doing is he went after one item into Aegis. This was actually a weakness we saw from Copenhagen Wolves when they ran Evelyn jungle, is the Aegis came out so late from them because their Shen, their top laner, spent a lot of time buying for himself and then transitioning out. Darien here has already gone Bloodthirster into Runic Bulwark by 24 minutes. 24-minute Runic Bulwark is actually faster than you see it from a lot of junglers, so by splitting the burden, by making sure Darien picks it up pretty quickly, they allow their teamfight to be very strong.
Well, Soaz goes engaging on towards Alex Siege, puts the slicing Maelstrom out. Is it going to be enough to slow him down? Alex is dropping very heavily here, forced to flash away from that one. That's going to take it away from his team fight potential for a period of time. That is down now. So that was a very good engagement from Soaz.
That's really, really good from Soaz there. Good reflexes by Alex to put the Bulwark on to himself. The W that blocks a bunch of damage by giving armor and MR. It helped him sustain through Soaz's ultimate. And again, this is still an attack damage Soaz. He's actually building towards an Infinity Edge, so he's going to be putting out damage you don't expect from a Kennen, though. You saw his follow-up after the ulti was still so high, forcing that flash out of Alex, forcing him to run away, even though he's got Sunfire Cape, because Soaz will put out very good DPS.
Well, it will be the return of the Dragon, and Fnatic are ready for this one. Diamond Prox is going to come around. He has taken the last 2, so he wants it, and I don't think he's going to get it, or will he? Because the rest of Gambit have come around and Fnatic stepped away. Peke, of course, off in that top lane, has got teleport available should they go for it.
It's interesting because while there's no flash for Alex Ich, there's no ultimate for Soaz. Theoretically, the team fight would be a bit stronger for Gambit. Problem is, they're actually far away. If Fnatic had forced the issue, there would have been no Alex Ich and no Diamond, but because they didn't have much vision, and because they didn't have the presence of mind to be like, well, we're down at ultimate, this is scary, they let it go, and that's a good pickup for Gambit.
And while it was a 2,000 gold advantage for Fnatic at one point, you can see that's already shrunk down to around about 500 gold. Darker now with those pink wards. The pink battle has begun in that bush, it seems, because that's the second one we've seen going down there. Gambit keeping control of their own jungle and have kept control of that dragon. That was their 3rd one of the game.
There's an interesting trade-off here, though, because Yellow Star has actually the Oracle's Elixir on himself. So he should theoretically be more efficient at sweeping out wards if he doesn't have to spend too much more money and can sort of just accrue a little bit off of killing the wards out himself, whereas now Darker has picked up his own He'd been using pink wards before that, and he's actually got a bit of an item lead as well, thanks to picking up a kill, thanks to the extra little bit of dragon control. He's 200 gold richer than Yellowstar is. So now the ward war gets even more interesting because wards are even easier to kill.
Absolutely, and Peke. This is what Fnatic do so well. Whether it be Peke or Soaz, they'll always keep on split pushing. They'll always keep pressure in one of the lanes that your opposition, they have to deal with it. And the teams that have managed to figure out and beat Fnatic are the ones that have sort of been veterans at this and dealt with it for a long time. Diamond again was trying to sneak around the side there. He's forced to back away. Fnatic didn't want to fall for this one, and it seems now they're happy to follow up the push and pressure that Peke has put in that top lane.
Well, they've got positional advantage over this top turret. Alexich can maybe wave clear, but Fnatic will be to this turret before the rest of Gambit is. They could potentially run this down, but they risk the ulti out from Galio.
Cyanide's hanging around the side there, does get the cocoon down on Genja, throws down a bit of damage as well. The rest of Fnatic react to that one, of course, with Soaz going AD as well. Double AD on those turrets will be burning them down very quickly.
They'll get absolutely evaporated, so that is something that Gambit has to consider, that the split push threats are incredibly strong. Peke, he's got teleport, he's got a lot of ability power by going Death Cap Zhonya's Hourglass, so it's difficult to deal with, and he might go in here.
We're going to say they're not backing up from this one. They're going to go in, slicing Maelstrom. Oh, instantly interrupted. Alexich doesn't manage to catch his ultimate down. Darien does slam himself down there. His Bloodwell is available. He's going to come back, but the rest of the team going to try and help him out there. Bullet time comes out from Genja. Oh, takes Fnatic very, very low. Diamond tries to flash in crescendo instantly from Yellowstar. That was all the mana he had, though. Is he going to have enough to escape here? So is he's trying to back up, but he's in the bush. He's going to go. Nobody's checking the push.
Oh, Soaz makes it out, and that's when Rusradosha had done a few hours back, decided to run instead of recalling. So the 1-for-0, they got the cancel on Alexich. His ulti is down for a good amount of time. That's a nice window for Fnatic, but they need some health. Peke picked up home guard, and he's teleporting.
He's teleporting because he believes that they were going for Baron. He was a little bit worried about that. We already saw Pushu hanging around. Darko might get caught out here. He has got the Oracle available. Diamond not really in range to help him out. You can see he's just off the side. The rest of Gambit are going to react. Soaz coming in as well. There's a hell of a lot of damage on towards Diamond. He does manage to hook onto Soaz. Soaz tries to get away. There's the teleport from Alexich. Is he going to have enough to close down on Peke? Sure as damn it, he will. And that is going to be Gambit picking themselves up another kill. Peke goes down.
Good teleport in by Alex, helping that one get turned around. Fnatic bought off a little bit more than they could chew. Couldn't quite have the damage they needed. Peke just now got his ulti back up from cooldown, and unfortunately he found the high health Darker and not the low health Diamond, so it's not that easy to burst down a support who's got about 650 health worth of items.
It is a real game of death right now between these two teams. They are setting themselves up 3-1 in turrets, 12-9 in kills, and honestly, you couldn't split it in team fights. It's just 300 gold between them now. Gambit clawed their way right back into this one with all those dragons they continually keep picking up. They always have very good timers on it. The blue buff themselves, so once they can, Gambit have full control of their jungle, and honestly, they're actually starting to ward in towards Fnatic's.
This is really Gambit feeling a little bit more comfortable right now. That even though they've lost control of turrets, generally speaking, they've lost more ganks early on. Because they've fueled so much gold from the dragon kills, they've been able to hold up into the game, and then because they've controlled the jungle so well, they kind of feel more comfortable running around the map. Dragon is kind of the thing that you see as a team that's more comfortable in their own skin, running around and making plays, and that's Gambit right here. And especially when you consider that Alexich now, with the distortion enchant on his boots, will lower the cooldown of both his flash and his teleport, so he can keep opening up these fights, can keep making these engagements, and surprising Fnatic.
Fnatic are doing a fantastic job of keeping these outer turrets defended. Every single time some little push comes out there, you can see the bottom and top turret still managed to remain almost 100% healthy as well. They've not even come close. Darker, though, has picked himself up his Oracle, and he is continuing to clear out those wards. And in terms of Baron vision, it's Gambit that have the better at the moment. Fnatic really don't have... Well, they have one ward at the moment on the map, which is down in that bottom tri-bush.
And Yellowstar's without his oracles right now. He bought Boots of Mobility instead of buying up another oracles. He doesn't have a lot of money because his team hasn't picked up globals or team fight wins in a while. And those are really the main sources of support gold income now that most competitive supports don't run GP10 quints. And they haven't really been picking up many Philosopher's Stones either. So he can't afford to constantly oracles. And he's been forced to go pink ward, which Darker just keeps clearing out.
Well, down the bottom, we're seeing Soaz going aggressive on towards towards Alex Ich. Pushu is just off the side. Chain of Corruption does land. Alex Ich is going to surely go down. Yes, he does. Pushu picks up the kill. The rest of Gambit came round to try and collapse in towards him, but they have to back away. Cyanide comes in towards the bush, catches a glimpse of the rest of Gambit. They could keep on pushing here. Fnatic have positional advantage. The Claw of Doom comes across, and Diamond just to use his ultimate to try and jump across there, escape out of the way. Peke almost locked him up.
And they're going to probably get the turret for this one as well. There's still no Alex Ich for another 30 seconds. No flash, no TP. Has his ulti though, which means he will be a little scary later on. But there's finally some global gold for Fnatic, as well as the kill picked up, which they need. Yellowstar needs to get ward control back, because if they can't spot out Diamond, if they can't spot Alex that's jumping over a wall, or Darker hooking someone out, and this dragon is so important as well, now that freaking Yellowstar can pick up on Oracles again, this is really big for Fnatic.
Yeah, that was the first dragon of the game for Fnatic as well. Peke defending off that mid lane. As you mentioned, that will give him a good chunk of gold, and sure enough, there is the Oracle popping into place. It gives them a 2,500 gold lead back over Gambit. They had that lead at one point. They let it slip. This time around, though, Gambit, can they hold on to it, or will Gambit manage to get back into the game once again?
Well, there's an interesting thing that's going to hold Gambit down now is Cyanide has finally finished what he considered his main build. Sork Shoes, Haunting Guys, Spirit of the Ancient Golem is now going for the utility items, right? Because Cyanide went early damage, but Soaz needed some too. No one had the Aegis Burden. No one could have bought that. Now it's finally here for Fnatic. Now in a team fight, they'll do a little bit better surviving Diamond and Alex's burst. And as soon as Runic Bulwark comes through as well, when you look at this build, there's no magic pen, no percent magic pen from these casters. So that's going to be a huge pickup.
And Soaz as well, almost got that last Whisper completed, chasing it down. Or will he go Phantom Dancer, actually? He could go Phantom Dancer first. Who knows? With that pickaxe in there and the Zeal. But Yellowstar, with that Oracle that he's just picked up, just acquired, does clear out the Baron buff wards. Peke defending off, saying, we want a ward in this tri-bush. Yellowstar saying, I can do that. I can go one better. I think I'm going to try and squeeze one further up the lane. They're waiting to see if Genja's going to go for this, because Peke will dive on him, and Genja's like, spider senses are tingling. I'm backing away from this one.
Genja's very good at knowing when ganks are coming his way. That's why he has so few deaths in games where his team is losing. That's why he had that 0-1-1 Varus game just yesterday, because he knew when things were coming. He could back out very successfully. Unfortunately, he couldn't get involved in the team fights because they were so hard to battle in general. But Diamond, he's actually running into Yellowstar. Yellowstar, I don't think he actually saw them because the Oracle's detection is actually pretty small.
Yeah, I don't think he spotted them out there. Put a ward a little further up the lane now because he's aware that somebody's coming. It is Alex Ich that's gone up the lane, actually. Peke's right next to him. But just in that jungle area, around the back of the Baron pit, Darker is like, I want this ward, but I could do with a little bit of protection here. I don't feel too confident in that. And he does manage to clear it out still. Lingering in the death bush. Gambit want to get some wards in this back of the Baron pit, but they're almost certain that Fnatic are there. Yeah, you can see Darian starts it off, makes the Baron attack Soaz.
Yeah, that's one of the best ways to get a team to not camp in the Baron pit. Just aggro it from across the wall and back off. Fnatic won't sit there and hold it, so he gets to sort of build a little bit of protection that way and let him ward that. But that little curved brush you just saw Darker sweep out, that's Thresh's favorite brush. You can hook that from across in the Baron pit, you can hook it from over in the red buff, and anytime a support has to face check that and sweep that ward out, you give the option to collapse on them, and every once in a while you see a game turn because of a ward in that brush.
Fnatic are thinking, we don't want to play this tactical dance just yet. Peke cleared out the top wave to keep it pushing, keeping somebody busy in that top lane. He's thinking, I could take Diamond down, actually. Let's have a look around these golems. Oh, he's getting collapsed on towards Darian coming around. He has got vision of this one. Pushu is just off the side there. Cyanide had actually started the Baron off. The Baron down to half health, by the way. They are going to have to back away from this one. Darian just off the side is stood on top of a ward. They're going to see if they can land that piercing arrow. They do manage to get that damage down on him. Darian actually got no Bloodwell built up at all. Does have to jump away in towards the golems. Peke is going to follow it through. He's going to drop him down. Is it going to be enough? The Zhonya's Hourglass comes out. Will he manage to get back in there? Crescendo comes back on towards him. We see Pushu coming around. He takes down Darker. That's going to get a second. That's going to be Darian going down. Bullet time just about defending off the rest of Gambit, but Alex is taken very low. That bullet, oh, the piercing arrow nearly landed. Diamond getting caught by the hail of arrows. He has to back away, and Fnatic once again coming out on top. It was a 2-for-1 trade though. Peke went down.
And Soaz was dropped incredibly low, but because he's AD Ken and he has lifesteal in his build, went back to full health by chugging down the top wave. They could go for Baron. They've got 2 AD carries.
They may well do that. They're going to come around the side. Is there a ward in there? There is one at the back, which Yellowstar will be able to spot out, but you can see the fact that Soaz and Pushu were in there. They'd already taken it pretty low before that exchange began, with Cyanide tanking it out. Cyanide will be making his way back. You can see him coming across the mini-map right now, so they will have Smite available. But Diamond
doesn't have
is
Flash.
also closing in, but yeah, as you mentioned, doesn't have Flash, and he's going to have to really hot-foot it in those stilettos to try and get in there. Not going to happen. It's going to be Fnatic's Baron.
That was awesome by Fnatic right there. They had pink wards on both walking entrances towards the Baron pit. If you come from the top, we'll see you. If you come from the bottom, we'll see you. And we know your Flash is down because you used it in that fight. Said, there's no way Diamond steals this unless Darker hooks Lanterns over, and we'll see that coming too because there's ward coverage on the other side of the wall. So even though Cyanide didn't even make it into the Baron pit before it went down, or did at the very end right there, they had the control. They knew they had the control to take that one down. No worries about Smite.
And that means there's a 5,000 gold lead almost building up here for Fnatic. But more importantly, with that Baron, Gambit are facing a aggressive Fnatic here. They're looking to go aggressive straight away on towards Alex in the bottom lane. It's Peke that goes in there, tries to pop himself down. Ultimate comes out, Peke just drops him. Soaz comes in with the finishing blow.
And as you start outscaling a Galio, especially when Peke has a Void Staff completed, you can't defend against all this damage. Alex went for a Death Cap to try to actually deal damage and get his team snowballed ahead. He doesn't have that anymore. He simply has to he built damage. He's not very tanky. You can explode that man, and we've seen that time and again in this game.
And it looks like Fnatic are going to rotate around, put some damage actually. Soaz tanking the turret a little bit, throwing some shurikens on towards that inhibitor turret. The whole 5 members of Fnatic now coming around towards this inhibitor turret. Can they force it down though? Can they siege down Gambit? They often hold out these turrets very well, but already look at how much damage has gone on that turret. It's gone already. Cocoon lands on Diamond, piercing arrow follows it through, and he just gets dropped. We'd see the bullet time doing work there, but Darker gets straight taken down. He tried to hook himself in and throw the box down, but it wasn't enough. Fnatic just have a lot of damage right now.
But they've got to run away from Alex Itch. They know it's so scary to have a Galio jump on you and pull your whole team in, because when you've got 2 to 3 members below half HP, a Death Cap Galio will wipe them off the map. So Fnatic very safely run back. They're waiting for Yellowstar to heal them up. They're waiting for lifesteal from Soaz and Pushu. And now they can consider going back in, but even still, they can just play the measured aggression. They can take the free dragon. Soaz a little overextended, but he's going to be okay, I think.
He should just about get away from that one. While the Cyanide takes the dragon out, Pushu's going to come around and help him out. And they will secure their second dragon of the game. And again, that gold lead, it continues to stretch. All this global gold, all this global experience is starting to be collected now by Fnatic. They're 5-1 up in turrets, and now it's 2 to 3 in dragons.
They've played so amazingly here, controlling their lanes almost the entire game. And it's so good by them that even though they're not often hardcore engaging under turrets, because they're strangling all the options from Gambit, because they're saying you can't push top, you can't push bottom, you can't dive in here, you can't dive in there, removing all the openings, Fnatic has to fight on their terms because Gambit they can't force the issue.
And from my experience, I don't like Alex Itch on these sort of champions. I like him on full-out aggressive champions, like Peke's on right now. He can be the man that sets up the kills, starts things off, because generally they read the game so well. These mid laners, they are killers, Peke and Alex. Alex isn't really a man to just play the team game and help set up a kill. He has to be the one that starts it all off, which technically he is, but yeah, Fnatic are just bullying him down every time he comes close.
Exactly. If Alex weren't behind this game, if he hadn't maybe burned teleport at like level 5 and been unable to counter gank, normally that is a playmaking champion. This is one of his old great champions from Season 2, actually. He used to run it a lot, and it was very effective. It was very effective on Galio. He could bully out his lane, he could shove it constantly, and make plays with teleport ganks. Unfortunately, he never found them. It's been on cooldown half the game, and then when he does show up, he gets bursted out.
And he manages to go, and Soaz is there. The standard seems to be how it's working. The final inner turret of the game for Fnatic. They are going to come around. Those turrets are dropping incredibly quickly with Pushu and Soaz, both being heavy AD hitters right now. And honestly, that every member of Fnatic can actually hit from range, so nobody has to be in melee range to try and take that down. So the exposed inhibitor seems to be the next target for Fnatic, and Gambit, they're really unsure of how to defend this one.
They're not going to be able to. The inhibitor, you have to give it up. When you're behind like that and the turret's already gone, you can't fight with a 9,000 gold deficit unless you get a miracle initiation. that Miracle teamfight could still exist here for Gambit. Remember, there's really only one true tank here on Fnatic. If they manage to actually catch Peke and Soaz in the Gallia ult without it being cancelled early on by slicing Maelstrom, they could just explode them. The problem is they've not found that situation, especially when they get poked out like that from Pushu.
And I think they're trying to bait out Darker to say, come on, hook one of us, you know you want to do it. Instead, it could be the Chain of Corruption lands in there. Darian tries to launch himself in. Alex is not there, he was at the base. He's back on the fountain, he's teleporting out right now. Finally, he's going to join the fight, but again, he's too late to the party. And Fnatic just simply hadn't invited him, they're going to back away.
And they are going to be forced away, and Diamond's going to find Peke, force the Zhonya's, he's gone.
Zhonya's comes out, yeah, he's going to try and flash away, it turns him back around on Diamond, but this time he is going to get picked up, the heal wasn't quite enough, Genja comes in, but now he's in trouble, Guardian Angel gets popped there, Soaz, can he get the last hit? No, because there's Idol of the Duran, Alex H finally gets himself a kill on the board, it's 19-13, it's still not over with.
And there you go, there's the Miracle fight they needed. Diamond just beelined for Pushu and got rid of him immediately. The bullet time came across and kept the rest of Fnatic from doing anything. Dropped their health bars so low. Yeah, Alex was late to the party, but he showed up when it counted and got the cleanups there. That was huge for Gambit.
So Gambit with an inhibitor down are continuing to keep on pushing through this mid lane. Still 3 members of Fnatic down. I'm not too sure whether Gambit have it in them to take the inhibitor down. They will back away from this one, but they are not done and dusted yet. That engage wasn't the cleanest, wasn't the greatest, but still they got kills. Alex wasn't even there for the start of that fight.
It's because they can dive in and not be punished doing it. Darian dove in, also helped kill off Pushu, lost his Bloodwell for it. But when you consider the Fnatic lineup being pretty bursty early on and then relying on AD carries to clean up, well, one of the AD carries got dropped immediately. That was Pushu. He got killed off, so he can't kill off Darian after the Bloodwell ends. You look what happened to Peke. He got pretty much isolated out, was forced to Zhonya's away. Diamond picked up at the end right there. Soaz can't fight without a tank line in front of him. He had to run away from that one. If no one's left to kill off Darian, he can be that second guy in, take a bunch of damage and say, that wasn't a kill, I don't care.
And Peke, we see him picking up that Guardian Angels this time around, so he's going to relive and revive for the fight once again. Genja's GA did actually get burnt in that last fight as well, so it's important to note that cooldown is going to be off for a while. Darian didn't get touched, so I don't believe, so his Bloodwell will be back available. Baron's going to be up in 4 seconds. Gambit are not in any way, shape or form ready to fight for this.
And Fnatic have total ward control of it as well, and that's just that's reaping what they have sown this game. They've taken control. Okay, that push in the mid lane didn't quite work. Gambit got a good turnaround, but Gambit didn't take ward control off of that one. They didn't go and get wards everywhere and sweep everything away. Yellow Star got to rebuy and Oracles. The wards were down in the jungle anyway. They get that one for free because Gambit, unfortunately, went for a push instead of for vision control, and so the Baron was available.
So Fnatic now with that Baron. Peke pushing the top wave along. Remember, there's super minions coming in the bottom lane, and Fnatic 4 members in this mid turret, and there's not a great deal of hit points left on that inhibitor. It will go down very quickly. Peke free hitting that top turret. Somebody's going to have to deal with it. Genja's having to deal with the super minions right now. They are in trouble here. Gambit once again being forced back into their base. There goes the turret. That's the second one to fall. Peke meanwhile on that top lane. Now he's going to rotate round. They want the inhib.
This is so good for Fnatic, and I think Soaz learned some lessons from the All-Star game where the 1v1 matches were all about playing casters at 80 carries, but Darian gets caught.
Darian gets caught out, and the Bloodwell's not going to be there. Crescendo comes out. Alex is just trying to prop his ultimate down, but instantly gets turned around, stunned out beautifully by Soaz. This really is Fnatic in full control right now. 21-13, second inhibitor goes down. Third one is exposed, completely invisible. There's no way that's going to happen. They're going to take that down. The Nexus turrets will be the next target, and Fnatic look like they're going to take another victory over Gambit here. This will take it to 2-0 over them, and more importantly, it will tie them in the second place with Gambit in that top as they try and pad out their KDA. Fnatic are the winners once again over Gambit.
Beautiful game there by Fnatic. All of the lanes performed excellently. A couple of good ganks did come in there for a Gambit. They got Diamond off to a pretty good early